he might make an appearance. Thor, the new and improved Thor. We've got team ups that have been nerfed. The Jeff NATO, the Hawkeye Luna. Things have changed as we head into domination to kick off both these teams. And listen, same as last week, Emma Frost to make history repeat itself.
Okay, there you go. That's what starts things off. I'm not surprised. I mean, do you really want to deal with the mental projection team up with the Psylocks that we know that are probably going to come out in full play as the double protection on the Magneto? It's what we're going to first see for our first map on domination.
Yeah, FlyQuest right away, making sure Avery does not have access to that Human Torch. These teams are locked in. And look at that. They respect the tip of the cap to Tap. Gonna be curious if this goes back, because if Tap doesn't have Psylocke, but Energy does, that's gonna be nice for them. Energy also could be playing Wolverine, so we might see that. Human Torch elected to not be there. So just looking at what FlyQuest plays, I'd be pretty pumped if I were them with what they have available at the moment.
Okay, now looking on the other side here, at least working for Tekixd. What's going to be the third ban? The triple ban back-to-back here that red team usually has, and it looks like the mutual respect is given.
There it is.
No Psylocke from either side. So, you know, I love how we hint this at the Battle of the Psylocks, but this is what our advanced ban system really provides here too, as they save the Punisher, expecting the Flyers from FlyQuest.
I was about to expect, honestly, the Punisher going to get banned, because I know after Psylocke, Tap plays Punisher, and it's going to be Wolverine in the side of them. Avery, though, leans on the Flyers. There's now no Human Torch, no Storm. Great strategic banning. One thing that opens up, though, with both these teams, Luna's available. They can go with Luna. You see a lot of strategists being banned. Not this time around. They kind of have their pick outside of Loki there on the side of FlyQuest.
Okay, so having the strategist out to play here, the Loki to prevent any sort of dive shenanigans as well here too, but looking like we get to lean onto that Wolverine pick that we were highlighting too, as Energy has been able to come out not only on the Wolverine, the Torch, and the Psylocke. Obviously, they're not going to be able to run that Torch or Psylocke here in this equation.
Yeah, here, guys. Now, again, if you don't know, best of 3, first to 2. The first map's always domination. The loser gets a pick between Convoy and Convergence. So that is what we will see as we start off in Wakanda. We may not have any Black Panther now, but I can guarantee we will have some later for you if that's what you're looking for, as we have the flyover of this gorgeous Marvel location, home of the Vibranium. And listen, I saw teams lock in already. We've got the Cap on the side of Blur, and we have the good old Wolverine Energy and Vest back to Magneto. Exactly what worked for them in group stage.
Let's get this started here, trying to kick off our playoffs now for our first match, FlyQuest versus Tekixd. And let's not forget, you guys get to submit your own votes. Which team will win match number 1? You guys can then check down below. Try to see whether you agree with us here. FlyQuest with that 87% huge lead versus the Tekixd expectations.
Yeah, the house odds like to fly here, 87%. This would be quite the bracket breaker if Tekixd could get it done here, as Blur's kicking things off here, trying to get himself a little bit of action in the back line, but the team is left somewhat alone, as both teams aren't really even on the point with 5 seconds left to go, and Energy now going into it with the other FlyQuest on the high ground, Vicky.
Oh, and already trying to find the kidnap before diving into protection too, coming in from the Hulk that we mentioned from Spark, as Brute is the first one to go down. FlyQuest having the number advantage as they start closing in the gap here.
Yeah, Cooper picking up where he left off with that freeze there on Brute right away. Mr. Magneto in this first fight's going to be tough here. Spark Chief just going crazy on the Gamma God that we've seen in Hulk. But Tap electing to play Hella from the flank angle. I like that. Energy's going to have to keep an eye on him if he plans to not let him get too many picks here. But right now, they let FlyQuest get the point, and that's going to be rough for the opening.
Yeah, imagine being on Dios right here on the Ultron, and you're looking at Tap being on the Hella, and then Avery being on the Punisher. 2 hit scans that could definitely try to deal with you, but luckily on this round, though, you have these 2 walls to work off of as Energy falling a little bit low. The Extermination, though, is going to be able to bring him right back to health.
Yeah, Adios already getting back to me. But Tap, again, if he's left unchecked there from the side, and the Goddess of Death is going to bring down the other villain in Ultra. Daring Extermination is huge. Avery now with that Final Judgment, getting a pick on Vest. Energy getting a pick in return, but it's not going to look pretty, as now Cooper just trying to keep things stalled and alive. But this looks like Tekixd could get this point back.
At least they stalled for as long as possible. They're nearing that 35%, as they're going to be able to now flip the point, and we get to see some Doctor Strange portal plays from Adios.
Yeah, Adios getting that. Nope. We're going to have the portal on the point. Instead, we're going right to Namor. This is what they ran a lot of the time in Domination, and one of the main teams that did it. When you have Spark Chief on the Hulk, why not, right? The King of the Sea can do his part with those Gamma Squids. Vest now trying to get an opening here and get some poke damage, as Adios is going to try to join in. Now, it looks like this team is feeling right where they left off here. They've got a couple ultimates going into this fight. Wolfels, though, is the one to watch out for.
We've actually seen this from Alios and Spark too, with that Gamma Squid specifically, so this is not unfamiliar territory here, as you're going to be able to try to recontest. The Meteor is online, as well as Energy, about to have that Wolverine ultimate, but tap first activates the Goddess of Death, while Vez now from the skies tries to send the Meteor in the backline, not finding the Loki, as the lamps also come up from both angles.
Now cool is that we can now see some of the players kind of home face cams there on what they do. Energy, we're seeing what he looks like when he's playing. Logan himself, again, he's not flanking, he's hunting as he goes in, trying to get the pick early. We've got Zealous putting in that eternal bond, getting that pressure going, forcing Wolfels to get the fate of both worlds out there. And right now, Cooper doing the same and matching it. Energy, though, is going to get rid of Tap, not letting that... Ooh, there we go, not getting that pick now on the Ultron and keeping things spicy.
Almost got the clip off the map, off to the very side here before getting that finishing blow onto Tap. Brute with the slight stun here before Alios sends out the Namor ult. Meteor now called in from Brute, tries to find the choke point and still gets that final hit onto Cooper as he was just trying to hide away from him. Spark also gets a reset with the whole ultimate.
Yeah, off the backboard, ollie oops himself and gets the pick there on Luna. Great job from Brute there. Again, 88% Techie looking very comfortable right now. And ever since losing that first point, FlyQuest being a little bit on their rocker, 80% of you guys picking FlyQuest to win. Well, they got to get this first point to get that started. And Avery with the finish exclamation point there on Spark Chief to get the first point, Vicky.
Okay, starting things off as strong as we were expecting playoffs to be. A little crazy out here. Nice longer stagger too onto Spark off the Bruce banner, taking that very first round as we move up to Stellar.
Yeah, wow. I mean, color me surprised, but also in the interview, I think it was Blur. He's like, hey, we're not underdogs. Don't call us underdogs. You guys may not know us. I know respect, you know, is not given, it's earned, and they're earning it right now.
Dude, taking a look at Avery, though, the Punisher actually being a problem. And if you consider it right here, too, that was exactly what they had protected aside from the Magneto, just to work into their favor. Even if you get to see certain flyers that were banned, the Ultron being saved was that indicator to lean into Avery's strength.
Yeah, absolutely there. Again, player of the week for us was Energy, and Wolverine just didn't get enough there from that one. So we are going to have a switch up here. Audios is going to be going, and switching as Energy is going to be going to Namor as Bast and Black Panther gaze upon us here as we enter the map. And looking at it, we have Audios back on Ultron.
We get to see the flexibility coming out from Techie. It's not about the flyers here from Avery. It's about being utilized here on the Punisher, setting up in the turret just to build into that ultimate, controlling good amount of space, closer to the pillars here too, and that's going to also allow Alios to try to dance and stall just a little bit in the back lines here before having to forcefully fly out of the open cover.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're FlyQuest, you know right now who is the person doing the job, and that is Avery on Punisher. You got to make sure that you can track him and get him eliminated, making Audios' time just rough out there against, you know, both Hela and both hit scans. This can be a tough job. As Spark Chief does get the elimination, does get the pressure on Tap. Oh, Will comes out, and the whole sea follows behind Moby Dick as they get the triple to open up this point.
I mean, the old man in the sea gave me a little taste of that as they found themselves drowning on that boat before backing away. This is still trying to harass Cooper, or rather the other side of Wolfels, who does have that Luna ultimate, but at least they get the reflect here. They get the toss up on that point. It did take them a little bit, like we saw from that first round.
Yeah, I like the switch up over there to Namor. That's going to be clean as we've got now a few ults online for Fly. Techie's going to have pretty much everything in the bank. Blur's going to open it up there, doing it all day with Steve Rogers and pushing right onto the point with that pressure, forcing Cooper to get that ult off, which is actually huge, and a job well done as he backs up to his team.
The Fate of Both Worlds not available after the Freedom Charge that's forced that out from Blur, and they have a plethora of ultimates, 5 on the board here for Techie as they have the ultimate advantage going into this next fight.
Yeah, we've got the purple ball up, and unfortunately does not connect. He goes off the back glass there, but we do have the Goddess of Death going up Tap, trying to get a big pick, but we have the Meteor going up. Vest has landed these all day in the group stage, but the Loki Lancers keeping everybody protected there. Avery in the combo wombo that we saw plenty in the group stage as well with the Luna, but the Whale goes out to stagger, not eliminate, and Energy does get that elimination on Avery.
Oh, and that was through the God of Mischief in the form of the Fate of Both Worlds, not going to be able to help them out, and now it's going to be another team fight win in favor for FlyQuest, and that was Techie utilizing everything basically that had minus Wolfels and their own Fate of Both Worlds.
Yeah, a good job, Energy, making use of those tritons by throwing the 2,000 plus pounds, way more than that, of the whale on them and eliminating. They did use a lot of their economy. Wolfos does have an ult ready to respond, but for the most part, this map has all belonged to FlyQuest. Good answer back.
The area's almost yours.
Is creeping about, is tap. Nearing that 85% in favor for FlyQuest right now on the point, but then you have to worry currently about the no more Energy in position with those squids, while the rest of FlyQuest continuously press in front of Tekixd's front lines.
Yeah, Vest, I like this little point here, poking forward, getting that pressure.
Wow.
Energy to follow with Adios. Beautiful picks as things get going. And not only that, they use the Wolfos Fate of both worlds. They're going to want that back as overtime persists. They're putting pressure on, but Tap getting that resurrection is going to give them the momentum they need, Vicky.
After getting that pick 2 onto Energy, big first pick here just to flip this point. It made Wolfos using that Fate of both worlds worth it here in this second round at the very end. Cooper actually reflecting the same thing here. And now the reset from Spark being on this hold before trying to jump away back into Cooper's line of sight. Vez turns around, he sends out the meteor, he does boot out currently over to the other side, just try to help out Spark as he was falling incredibly low. Now Tap also just gets deleted, has to just disengage on the Goddess of Death, and another Moby Dick, but Avery, no CC here when you're on the Punisher using that final judgment.
Yeah, nice hiding, a little hide and seek here from Avery the Punisher, and he found all the strategies connected with Sparks in favor. Vest does trade with Tap there, gonna make things a bit more equal as the grand finale comes out from Ad there. The Loki copy that's gonna give them all the pressure and sustain that they need. Eternal Bond also doing favor for FlyQuest here as Spark Chief trying to get the most of what he can put out with the Hulk here. Brute now trading with Energy, and at this point, momentum going back over to Techie, 23% and climbing.
Loki holding on though to that ultimate, using the Fate of both worlds, also just stalls enough time for Techie to take care of these squids, and now delay here as they're gonna start approaching that 40% mark after flipping it at 0%.
Yeah, honestly, I love them throwing out the Hail Mary a little bit with Wolfos to open it up. Yes, you know, it's definitely going to have a lot of punishment if you don't get the point, but they capitalize every receiver in the end zone. They scored multiple touchdowns, getting that point up now to 50%.
See though if they can take it all the way home though. Blur does have that Eye of Agamotto after going over to that Strange. Brute 2 with that Meteor, that's going to be able to try to deny that from Cooper, who has a Fate of both worlds going into this next fight. Another whale coming to the other side. Blur this time, they continuously are targeting out Energy.
Yeah, not in the splash zone of those whales at all. They're barely escaping them, but unfortunately Energy unable to connect on them as the team is just cleaning up right now. Avery punishing heavily. Adios just has not been able to get much going with both of those hit scans, and Avery just popping off. We've seen so much great Punisher play, one of the most banned heroes in this tournament, showcasing why Frank Castle is an absolute unit within Rivals.
And that's why you're seeing the change too from Energy. He's swapped off that Namor. He has gone over to the Wolverine. This is almost a 0 to 100 situation now in favor for Techie, and they have all the ultimates basically ready to go.
Yeah, nobody expected this. Kentucky open up with a 1-0 if they get 2 maps back-to-back. Energy going with the fastball special and going right away, getting hit massively, but the passive is going to keep him nice and safe and cozy as he goes up. Blur now trying to get that pressure here on the extermination, and good job keeping his team alive and the pressure away, what tanks should do best here. Putting up that shield, getting those good cancels in, and trying to get the early pop-off. Looking at Techie, they've got everything as the Goddess of Death goes up, Vicky.
And you saw that Brew had utilized that Meteor on right time after seeing that Vez had used up his own personal shield, not able to protect the backline. Zelos goes out first. The Eye of Agamotto here tries to take out Zelos successfully, unable to use that Eternal Bond. Meanwhile, Cooper trying to keep the team alive. Tapke now, though, just completely wipe out FlyQuest. Spark is just trying to delay the inevitable. This is not how I expected our very first game of the series to go.
We've got the 8 seed over the 1 seed FlyQuest, only dropping 4 maps, I guess, in its entirety throughout the entire run in the domination of the Group of Death in Group A. But Techie, they said don't call us underdogs, and they're showing why. They stunned the bracket in an 80% pick so far, and they make it 1-0.
How is this happening? History repeating itself just in different forms, I guess, here, Cozy. This is best of 3. It makes it a lot easier to just take the series here without a complete reversal situation as we take a look at the stats.
Yeah, listen, I said FlyQuest, they're comfortable in the lower bracket. Maybe it's true. Avery just going off. He emptied the clips and the scoreboard. I mean, I'm just telling you, Punisher could just go crazy. He says final judgment, no, final everything, and called the game there. Looking at the other players, though, who I highlighted earlier, played a phenomenal game there as Loki. The whole team really buttoned up, and Tekixd, that's exactly the start you want.
And your Vez here, you try to get the meteor multiple times on that Loki who was activated. The lamps, yes, you sometimes get that one KO onto Woofles, but it was just the way that Tekixd was ready with the retaliation. That biggest indicator, even after making the comeback, after losing out on that second round, initially for that first fight, we saw FlyQuest get to what, like 80% or so at that point, 90 plus, and then that complete reversal from Tekixd. Brute waiting out to see if we were going to see Vez's Magneto shield. Once that was used up already, then they were able to retaliate, utilize their own meteor, and it was just all a game of cat and mouse for them to retaliate on base of reaction.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just felt like, all FlyQuest was yelling at the same time, like, I got it, and then no one getting in. They all get eliminated. It just felt like each and every team fight, Tekixd was able to get the all-important eliminations right before things began or as they escalated, and Avery definitely was, again, that exclamation point on all that. Insanity there with 11 final hits and 30k damage. That'll get the job done.
What happens when Punisher skates by that ban phase, as well as the Loki too, because the Loki really did provide that extra support. We saw the copy into the fate of both worlds, and we saw the potential to stall and kind of make them more useless in terms of setting up with the Gamma Squid.
Yeah, and listen, hey, this happens. Like, whenever you win off and you haven't lost a game in a long time, you get comfortable, and then you get yourself in that kind of winner's quo. Tekixd, though, going off their last loss being, 2-0'd by Shroud X, they came with a game plan, and it shows here. They've had a week now to get things right, and that's what we've said about them and Ego. We need to see more flexibility from them and just more calm, cool collectness. They've already been on the big stage already, right? Now they're here, and they're not vets, but they've been here, done that. And guys, no one expected it. 80% didn't. Flats called a lot of upsets, but this was not one of them. Don't go anywhere. We have potentially the next match that can send FlyQuest back to their home in the lower bracket. I'm going to take a quick break. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Tekixd. They're cooking, and right now the kitchen is closed for FlyQuest as we look at match one and the upset. I mean, the bracket breaker could already be here, and the playoffs, it's only been going for like 10 minutes. I mean, I'm blown away right away, Vicky. I saw a lot of things that could have led to that for FlyQuest. Spark Chief, I want a better game out of him. Listen, maybe he plays better when he's, staring up at the ceiling in defeat. That's what we, saw last time in the group stage. What did you see, though?
What I'm seeing is a duelist difference between Avery and Tap, which is, I think, really important to highlight that when we last saw Tap basically flex through these different heroes, we saw Tap on the Punisher at one point. We highlighted Avery as this flyer duelist, yet here we are with Avery popping off with like more than double the amount of damage than the other opposing team. Looking at FlyQuest, literally just flying themselves into map number 2 just as quickly as a speed run, because that was crazy. Like, I think it just highlights the flexibility and the homework that has gone into this Tekixd team.
Yeah, and if you look at the pick and bans, I actually gave the favor to FlyQuest. I think they got what they wanted out of there, but also I think Tekixd was ready for that. And then, we saw the flip of the duelist and the abilities that we've seen these teams get adjusted to. But listen, we've got so much heading this direction. It's must-watch television here. And while you guys are watching, you can earn yourself a magic skin for Rivals with Twitch drops exclusive to the Ignite tournament and those that are co-casting as well. And just, you can rock this sick... I love these, by the way, all the characters they've hit so far. I'm hoping they have one for each and every one. But you can just, get a little emote nameplate spray, Vicky.
I love this. I already collected my Will of Gallica magic skin, so just by watching the tournament, it just takes roughly like 6 hours or so to collect every item, including this new skin, and you have all the way up until July 16th.
Yeah, this is good stuff, guys, so collect it while you can. Go ahead and watch the action unfold and get yourself a magic skin. Hopefully season 3 around the corner. Maybe you should get some buffs. We'll have to see. But yeah, looking at it with FlyQuest, I interviewed Energy this week to talk to a lot of their players, and there's always somebody that kind of really almost carried or just went all out, all gas, no brakes, whether it was Energy or Vest with those huge ultimates. We didn't really see any of those wow moments from Energy and the rest of FlyQuest this time around. you know, so I think it's the ultimate battles that came down to it, and it depends what we'll see there, or maybe just a little bit of that winner's rust. I don't know if you could say that, but we'll have to see.
I feel like just the way that we're currently seeing Energy play, Energy was not allowed to play that game, honestly. Like, domination, I feel like in the earlier rounds of what we've seen from FlyQuest during the group stages, they've fallen against Solaris in map number 1. We saw them fall against Ego Death map number 1, which is kind of a deja vu moment from what we're seeing right here. Leaning into those strengths of FlyQuest, obviously made the comeback. They made the run back for a reason. Now trying to iron things out in another best of 3 situation here, Cozy, moving on to map number 2.
Yep, FlyQuest gets to pick the map. Yggdrasil's Path Convoys, the way they go with, they're going to copy the bans from last time. AMER not available, and we'll see if Tekixd can do the upset of the tournament. And it only just began, and I guess FlyQuest go home to their home court down there in the lower bracket, as we've got that Magneto save right away. Brute played a fantastic one last match.
Wonder if we're going to be sticking to the, already similar cases here. In this case where we didn't see the torch, are we going to see that Psylocke ban next? I'm wondering here, as the protection on both Magnetos looks like they're trying to skate by, but I feel like we're probably going to see something similar. You know, when you take the strength away from Energy specifically, you're forcing this Wolverine composition, and then you get to really try to focus down on trying to take away those strengths away from FlyQuest.
Yeah, I want to see now if they're going to be banning Punisher instead of Psylocke. I think they're going to also go for the Psylocke here, if I had to guess. But then you do give them the option to save Punisher like they did last time. If they ban Punisher here, they're just going to save Psylocke. So either way, they do ban the Punisher, and that's going to force Tap to go back on to Psylocke, and then Avery plays the Flyers. But again, you can't ban them all, so I guess Avery then probably shifting to Storm.
See what that final ban's about to be here. And, settling on what the next safe pick is going to be. Looking at FlyQuest, believe we did see the Magneto and the Ultron. We noticed that the Ultron got nothing done comparatively to the fact that you have to deal with the Hela and the Punisher. And there is that safety pick that you were mentioning, Cozy, probably leaning more into that Psylocke.
Yeah, we saw Energy really go off here against Envy. Even when they struggled a little bit on the first bit of the map, Energy on that Psylocke, they were able to just go crazy. And I'm expecting the Psylocke save for Tap. Energy wants that 1v1. He even said in the interview that he respects Psylocke as one of the best. But this is our first time seeing a Psylocke save, funny enough, in Ignite for America. So cool to see things broken up and different here in the playoffs, Vicky, as Luna is now the ban.
That's what I love about this advanced tournament ban and save system, because then you get to play into your strength. This is what highlights flexibilities. This is what made for so many different compositions coming out straight up for the Ignite tournament. Saving the Luna, though, or rather banning that Luna, is going to be big, as yes, they get to put the save on the Psylocke. We get to have the Tap v Energy Psylocke 1v1.
The fight in the shadows, Psylocke v Psylocke, that is going to be just entertainment, as we've seen Tap again, just one of the craziest, just the dance of the butterflies. Psylocke's ult just executed to perfection there. And it looks like for the last ban, they're thinking about, Captain America. We did see this often here. I believe it was Brute that played a mean Cap, so going to be interested to see what they adjust to, especially on this map.
We've also seen Brute lean into a pretty strong Magneto too. Wonder if this is going to be what they end up rolling out with here specifically. But I love how we keep highlighting Tap as that one Psylocke player, because correct me if I'm wrong, Cozy, wasn't there a game where we saw Tap go 30-0 in the group stage? So that's just crazy to see the amount of pressure Tap alone as a player could provide on that Psylocke.
Yeah, when you look at all the duelists and the ones that really just put up insane flashy numbers, and honestly, you never want to say carry in a hero shooter, but just does a lot of heavy lifting. We look at Self and Ego Death. We look at Tap for sure in this team. Absolute great. And then that opens up the skies for Avery, which is also going to obviously help everything out as well. As we go to Yggdrasil's Path, and I'm telling you guys, I don't know who gave Tekixd the script. They look rehearsed, though. They look ready to go for this potential elimination to the lower bracket for FlyQuest.
And I see you guys in the chat changing up some of your votes. I saw a lot of that, 80 plus in favor of FlyQuest after that first game alone. You can only imagine the Tekixd fans, they be feasting right now, but they have to feast here for this second game to proceed on through this winner side of the bracket.
And here we go at Yggdrasil's Path, and right away we start with the man on Psylocke, Tap. trying to get early poke damage from up above, expect them to take these, side corridors and maybe go behind for the back line, try to make it a quick assassination there as everyone else is pushing through the front. That's going to allow Tab to get some space there. Brute, though, pushing up right away on Spark Chief, and wow, what an offense to get things started with Brute at the helm for a triple.
With the 3K here, Blur to then follow up the nail in the coffin to then get the 2K, winning another dominating fight. This is what you like to see from Tekixd. This is just straight momentum after that high win in that first game.
Just putting the pedal down and driving right through expectations. You'd love to see it as they do have a portal unlock ready to get the team fight right away. Vest now flexing over to that group, getting those good close of walls to separate that space early and often for them. Avery in disguise, as we saw, Omega Hurricane nerfed a little bit in this patch, but still can put plenty of pressure and most importantly use those strategist ults here. Energy needs to get locked in right now and get those picks to keep his team going.
This takes just a little bit of time, but currently see both worlds activated here from Ad just to close in that distance. This forces out the invisible boundary now from Cooper, and here comes that Omega Hurricane. It took just enough time, but stalling it out second right after that invisible boundary allows them to find Zelos. The strangling prison, though, keeps Avery floating in the air, and the dance of butterflies may have not have found its mark, but the finishing blow onto Cooper when the rest of your team is dismantled allows Tekixd to win another team fight.
Zealous there, right there. He was at the ult. Eternal Bond was 1% away. That is a brutal elimination and perfect timing for that Hurricane and close in of the team. Perfect communications right now for Tekixd. That off week really gave them everything they needed to change up strats, comms, and composure as they headed to the second point. But it looks like potentially FlyQuest, they're going to be able to at least put up a fight here.
Well, this is a great re-engage for FlyQuest, but they noticed that Woofles had used the Fate of Both Worlds really late in that previous fight. Really unnecessary to pull the trigger right there. So they wanted to try to re-engage right afterwards, but Blur also having the Eye of Agamotto, just trying to put in the pressure. FlyQuest just completely moved back in with energy, opening things up with a Dance of Butterflies.
And there it is, Energy getting that big pick on Blur, and yes, they still have the Agamotto ready with Blur using theirs right to beat. Now, Brute does have the Meteor coming close, but as far as strategist, Ad is going to be the next man up to get it here. Spark Chief, though, trying to hold that front ground, and that was huge for momentum. 3 team fights in what looked like a full domination there from Tekixd. That is a big win there for FlyQuest.
That was all opened up with the Eternal Bond, specifically from Zelos, after Zelos had got down pretty early in the engagement of the last fight. Jumping in from the skies, though, the Eye of Agamotto. Brute tries to retaliate, looking up to the skies, forcing Spark to back away, put up that Doctor Strange shield, helping them out, and they still were able to get Avery in the process.
We've got now both the Extermination and we have the Invisible Boundary going off at once. Wolfos are now Ad going in with this Fate of Both Worlds and Tap to follow. We saw this last time, the team spreading the damage between them, though. Great job, but it's not going to be enough as Ad and Tap close in. Zelos falls with Spark Chief. Rough start there, especially in terms of the Agamotto. We're going to go into now Venom for Spark Chief, trying to maybe poke.
Ad is having way too much fun. He also got the freeze too on Vez before backing away, and then now trying to finally finalize this first checkpoint here for Tekixd. They're going to move up, and they have 2 ultimates here to work with between Woofles and Blur.
Yeah, and so far, not extremely dangerous skies here for the weather report of Avery and the ultimates. I would like to see those land a bit better, but it's getting the job done. Cleaning up some of those ults at the end of the fights would probably be the only thing Tekixd needs to adjust. Other than that, keep rocking and rolling. Play loose, have fun. We're seeing it right now with Blur ready to rock the Agamotto, the team fight winner. Right now, Zelos is going to have to nail this. Cooper getting close to that invisible boundary as well. We need to see FlyQuest stagger these strategist ults a bit more.
I do some more of this poke pressure too, with Spark now being on the Venom before dropping down and swinging right back away to the safety of his team. The Extermination now just trying to keep Tap in that corner before dashing away to the safety of the rest of their team. They've used up this Extermination, and the Dance of the Butterflies is also up here for Tap. As Blur now comes in with the Eye of Agamotto here, gets blocked out. Vez now being able to retaliate, moves up to try to get the Agamotto themselves.
Big Agamotto, we've been seeing it all week, and with the finish there in the Eye of Agamotto, it sees all, including that team wipe. Brilliant job there in composure. Really, Vicky, the story of this is just the domination of the meta pick of Loki and Luna together versus, yes, triple support, but it was strategist, but it is tough to match those two in the countless seconds of invisibility.
Yeah, what is it, like 24 seconds of immortality if you cycle through both Loki and Luna in that timely fashion, just waiting for one to end versus the other? It's crazy. It's a huge stall opportunity here too, just to help recollect yourself. Energy, though, gets caught with the Sun Tap alongside them. They jump Energy. No safety as Sparky tries to help and peel.
Yeah, that's a huge pick early. Again, we saw this with against Envy when FlyQuest went against him on this map here, as we've got the internal bond going in, closing in. Add, though, with the response, Avery and the Whale going out with the damage boost. Cooper getting the elimination, but Avery closing and finishing off the job with the trades looking close. But honestly, this is going in favor of Tekixd as Tap finishes off the job with the sword two-piece.
Wait, and the Ditto just clap back here too from Tekixd. They go over to the Hulk and the Namor to try to counter that of Energy, who's already having a hard time with a slight stagger.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about the Hulk there for Sparksheet. Blur says, watch what I can do with the Gamma, as one is Hulk smashing, the other is Hulk spectating, as now they're pushing into this cavern here, trying to get that pressure, not letting FlyQuest get in, but that portal comes out, and the team trying to contest. They need to win this one if they want to keep momentum. 28 seconds, so Vicky, not a lot of time.
No, but at least it's enough time here to just re-engage with these ultimates if you're FlyQuest holding back Tekixd. Blur now gonna get booted off of that Hulk, gonna be turning into Bruce Banners as Cooper sends him back to the spawn. They've re-engaged. Tekixd are forced to just try to peel away, and looking behind them though, their entry is just cut off by Spark, who manages to fly away, and now this is the moment, now less than 5 seconds.
Yes, to be causing that distraction. There's the Agamotto, and we've seen it how? We've seen it before. Vest with a huge stun on the team, as now FlyQuest closing things out, and at this point, it's looking like FlyQuest can get a good firm defense with the last desperation here from Blur, but he might not enough time with that Monster Hulk. The team can get themselves in. Tab also getting eliminated, and that's going to be it, Vicky. For the first defense, FlyQuest responding.
It's the common collected faces for FlyQuest for me right now. The way that they're holding on, the way that they're able to cycle through, they just knew in that moment that they were able to push them off.
Did you see Energy's face cam pop up there? He looks so unfazed. Like if a meteor hit his house, it looks like he just wouldn't move. I mean, the guy looks composed and is probably definitely proud of how the team turned it around. It is tough against, again, Loki, Luna with what you have. And with FlyQuest not even looking like the team we've seen in group stage, I'm impressed that they were able to get that stop.
I'm also really impressed to see the way that Tekixd has tried to isolate Energy. When you get to figure out and pinpoint the biggest issue that is going to be the wall for your team, they've been able to communicate properly on Energy's positioning constantly. And even with that, FlyQuest was able to prevent Tekixd from getting to that second checkpoint.
Yeah, 100%. I think that Tekixd, they're using their ultimates a bit aggressive. I like it. I like the approach that they're going with there, but it does seem like they're kind of all gas, no brakes. And honestly, they're just not even, they're not worried right now. I think Avery definitely hoped to see a bit better Omega Hurricanes there, but as a whole, the team has it in lock. Now, Avery, 14K, not bad, though, on the damage front. Energy playing a much better game as well.
Talk about ultimates. We see that sometimes too with Wolfels, just with the fate of both worlds being utilized either too late or a little too early, just to try to start more of these aggressive engagements here. See how they're going to be able to cycle through this with FlyQuest now be on the attack instead with the fastball special, just trying to yeet Energy in the direction they're trying to get a kidnap.
Yeah, we got a portal opening as well. That's going to be the turret portal that we've been seeing most likely. And look at that beautiful scoop. What is happening? My goodness, with the double kidnap in the air. Peter Pan, you can fly as Energy gets the opening cuts, and Blur is going to be eliminated fast here.
Just a little bit of pixie dust or maybe some adamantium is all you need to be able to get the isolation pick onto Blur, but it's a big first pick. This is 4 seconds to just try to play split up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Brute now getting that poke. Blur is going to be coming back a bit slower right now. Both teams just getting good pressure on, and honestly, FlyQuest just pushing in very heavy at the moment. They had 3 fights and contests on this point. It's going to be tough to match that with the point making its way firmly to the gates and opening up point 2, potentially best now with just pure pressure. And look at those ults getting charged up fast. Audios with a nice pick and getting close to being able to get that strategist ultimate now.
Oh, FlyQuest saying they don't need the no more Gamma Squid here in their favor before Tekixd now force their way in after Tap gets sent out here. And that does have the God of Mischief, and he uses it and gets shut down in the process. The beautiful follow between Energy and Zealots with that Terror Cape has just been the nail in the coffin to allow FlyQuest to get this first checkpoint.
Those melees are beautiful. I'm telling you, that man and this team, they just play great when they're down, and we've seen this before. We're seeing it again. Every cut intentional, every dash personal. Love to see it.
Top of the little stagger here. It's another common collected energy, by the way. I love these face cams. It just highlights, yeah, I just popped off real quick. Now we're going to be able to control this space, but it's just what FlyQuest is expected to do here in this corner.
Yeah, and just looking at the ults too, I mean, right now, you're in favor of FlyQuest with the momentum that they have there. They've got 30 of their strategy ults ready. They can get a huge Agamotto here to really make things tough, as Avery just trying his best now, going to try to use the Blessings of the Deep early as the Extermination goes out. The Magneto goes up and does not get a connection they were looking for to try to stall this offense.
You talk about the reaction from Avios, just did not lose sight of that meteor just in case he could destroy with the Extermination midway through being tossed here in this case. While Tap now using the Dance of Butterflies, it's then answered back and countered by Cooper and the Invisible Boundary, just waiting for that opportunity, knowing it was going to come eventually.
Yeah, unfortunately, too, Magneto just not getting that connection, throwing at the meter and just going right off the glass. No basket here. We're seeing everything go out for both these teams here as there's 4 minutes on the clock. You would think it's almost overtime with the aggression, but luckily here, Techie is able to fight back. Vest now just forced to back up, rejoin his team, and reset.
Yeah, the strategists were in shambles in that case here. They're first to 2 to go out in that fight. This allows Techie to get a lot more aggressive and to allow themselves to set up with this no more.
Yeah, without question here, both teams now trying to get things going. Reset up. Spark Chief going back over to Venom. Worked really well in that first point against them. That's going to allow some mass pressure there. Energy, Dance of the Butterflies. He's going to look for that triple piece to open things up just like point 1. But this time, that'll make the series tied if he can pull it off. Avery, though, getting some nice farm of poke damage with those Tritons. Going right for the head, trying to get some poke damage on the flyer of Adios with the squids.
Oh, but Cooper with the pull here, too, as well as the follow-up finds Avery as a first pick. Yes, Brute's about to have that meteor, but FlyQuest as well with Vez having the Eye of Agamotto before getting temporarily stunned by Blur. Avio then gets the follow-up onto Tap, which is a big pick considering the Dance of Butterflies was online for Techie.
There's Vez with the massive eye, the follow-up from Psylocke. Now we've got 1 meteor going up, down, no connection, and now we've got Energy just putting the pressure on them with the damage DPS portal coming out, trying to contest now. Techie trying to get things evened out. Tap not getting a connection either, and at this point, it's all gas, no brakes. Ad going up with the fate of both worlds, keeping the team alive and the pressure with it.
It's a desperate times call for desperate measure strategy here from Techie after coming out of Avery's portal. The beautiful stall right on top of that payload too. Ad now gets booted out of the God of Mischief. Now Energy follows up, does find Wolfos. Avery with the Eye of Agamotto though. After they've already lost out on 2, they have to deal with the Eternal Bomb. They have to worry about the Venom ultimate on top of it. And Cooper and Vez together, alongside the rest of FlyQuest, have shoved Techie off this payload.
They did not just take the fight, they directed it, and call it what you want. That was a 6-man mic drop. Great job from FlyQuest to get the ship straight. And last time, Ego Death knocked both games out and into the lower bracket. They win. This time, they've got something to say.
They needed that here. Best of 3 situation. Again, it was a little bit of PTSD moment for FlyQuest, but they had to let Techie know, all right, we won't be getting got another time around as Cooper gets the MVP after that second game.
I'm telling you, watching these face cams crack me up. Energy just looks like he's not face at all, playing the best Psylocke that I've seen on the biggest stage. My face cam playing this game would be something of embarrassment, let me tell you. But looking at the final stats, Vicky, Energy, you can see 17K back into form that we expect with those 11 final hits. Both Vanguards and both Spark Chief, I think especially really kind of rose up there, doing a better part on this map.
And I'm not surprised too, because I feel like when you see FlyQuest go Gigastrill, like this is a really strong map for FlyQuest. They've won it against Lars when they were down that one map as well. They won it against Jobless Bums, and this was also the map that started that momentum here for FlyQuest versus Envy before Envy had taken that one game 3, I believe, onto Clintar, and then FlyQuest then took it over Envy in that last game on Krakoa. So they're playing to their strengths here, including adding that onto the maps.
Yeah, and it felt like kind of Techie and Fly swap places in terms of performance with ultimate usage and lineups. We saw them do it to perfection, Techie on domination, and that time it just felt like these ults were kind of going out sporadically. A little bit with FlyQuest at the beginning there too. Energy, a couple ulti ones back, but things just locked in, and we've seen that time after time. When the man needs to step up, he does, and the team follows with him. Fantastic job.
And I'm wondering if that goes hand in hand too with the triple strategist that we currently saw from FlyQuest. They had Zelos on that Cloak and Dagger, Avios obviously on that Ultron, the output from Cooper, and being able to just support through everything with that 31k healing here too. And that's with Energy having to make a lot more of these swaps and these adjustments.
Yeah, that's actually a great highlight there. Looking at strategists from both teams. Obviously, you know, Luna Loki, that's the favor in terms of the meta picks. But man, the damage spread between the three of them and healing, all of them, 23k, 15k, 31k healing. That is a lot to go up against. I think they did the perfect job. Cooper-tastic once again taking that MVP, man, just collecting them at this point. 31k healing. Absolutely insane there with Sue. So looking towards this next matchup right now, Tekixd gets to pick the map. They have the final mode there. I think the pick bans, they went fine. Obviously, Avery and what they did with Punisher surprised, you know, FlyQuest, and they took care of that. I think we're going to see the same, at least, pick ban list there from FlyQuest.
Yeah, because it was FlyQuest that couldn't run the Luna and the Loki themselves, so they made it work with the triple strategist here. So that, again, further highlighting the flexibility on having to navigate through these different strategist bands that we constantly keep seeing.
And guys, let me highlight this. Group stage was something, right? That was to get the seeding, okay? Maybe make a little bit of a name for yourself. This is now for LAN. The pressure is to the maximum. You can only lose twice. One of them coming right here, right now for one of these teams. I mean, this is as high stakes as you get. Forget, you know, just making your legacy, but this is going to be it for one of them here, at least in the upper bracket where you want to be, unless maybe you're FlyQuest. But either way, we've got a great match 3 coming up. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're right back to the action. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Momentum has been claimed and confidence has been achieved by both these teams now. They know what it takes to get one win off the board there. And we go into match 3, Vicky. Both teams show what they got. Which one is going to bring it all to match 3?
I mean, this is how you start off a playoffs match out here, Cozy. This is what I like to see against our heavily seeded teams, but even better from Tekixd, making this a little even here for us as FlyQuest. They knew that they could not go down without a fight. Another PTSD situation. They don't want to reiterate what happened in the group stages, but this also means that we will be moving on to Convergence for map number 3.
Yeah, and it'll be Central Park at that. Now, listen, I think we're going to see a lot of what we're going to expect into the match. With the pick and ban phase, will Punisher make its way through again? Will they change things up? Tekixd, obviously, you know, looking to get things a little bit better from that last match. They played great. The stats are there across the board. I would say, again, as we pointed out, the ultimate tightness has got to get a little bit better for, honestly, both teams. But in that last one with Tekixd, what is the big standout thing for each team to win? Who's got to play their A game?
I feel like for me, it's got to be the way that we saw the Fate of Both Worlds utilized for a lot of these 2 end fights that I noticed for Wolfle specifically on that Luna. I do feel like as well, their game plan for Tekixd has been to focus down on energy. They've changed a lot too. They came in with the Hulk and Namor. You try to test that against Avios, who likes to lean into that Namor too when Spark is on that Hulk. It kind of gives them a taste of their own medicine, but now depending on this pick and this safe and ban system that we currently have going into game number 3, this is where the mind games start.
Yeah, who's got the ice in the veins for a road to lands here as both teams lock in, ready to go. Emma first off the board, and we're going to find out a lot here in terms of duelists and which way they go. Of course, we've got the same saves so far.
Okay, not too surprised here after knowing how strong Emma Frost has been, especially Americas, but that Punisher band is going to be interesting, though, in favor for FlyQuest, looking at what Tekixd had done after map number 1.
Yeah, that's huge to open things up right away. Instead of going the route of Strategist or Human Torch, they're just going to go with the Punisher. They saw how well it worked last time. Love that bold ban to get things started, and they still get the Human Torch to follow it. So yes, they're like, have your Loki, have your Luna. We're going to go the direction of your duelist to win this thing.
Okay, this is big here. Also following something similar, except this time around, the no Loki, no Torch, like what FlyQuest had to worry about in those last 2. The safety, though, on the Psylocke, I'm not too surprised there. Even finding some difficulty, still allowed energy to have those pop-off moments on the Psylocke.
Yeah, so they're going to get rid of the strategist there. Tekixd is. Their game plan's going to go around it. And you can't undermine just how insane it is to get rid of the 2 best strategists within Rivals at the moment. They do get the save on tap Psylocke, so they're comfortable with that. And this is a map where Psylocke can just absolutely feast in backline graveyards. And we're going to see if we get that from and that could be the deciding point.
This is literally exactly the same save and bans that we saw in the last game, just one slight different order with the Torch ban and the Captain America band. You know, the Captain America being the last one, and it was actually Punisher who was that third band here. So now showing the respect that we were expecting between these two teams already off the rip, and Woofles hovering over that Ultron.
I like that one team gets the Captain America, and we've seen, you know, some teams that can do this all day, and other ones they should have logged off yesterday, and it's been a healthy mix of how they can pull off Steve Rogers within Rivals thus far, but the dive comp in favor right now, at least for the time being. For FlyQuest, as they took the second map, we head into Central Park, New York, will bring us our final result between these two teams.
Love this map, by the way. Squirrel Girl living rent-free out here in Central Park. Love that from my girl as we get to see what the chat has chosen, what their preds have been, and FlyQuest 65%, but it's slowly going down, Cozy. I'm still seeing that shift compared to our first game where chat had presented it as 82 plus, I believe.
Yeah, I'm telling you, in esports, one loss can make people just lose their confidence. Heck, we saw that last time with FlyQuest. No one believed in them. They won the whole thing. Can they do it again? But Techie earning the people's love here as they creep up to more even of votes here. Now, Techie on the offense first. We've got the Luna Loki, as you would expect. Avery on the Wolverine. That's going to be massive to see if they can get that pressure on Vest. And Spark Chief and Energy look to get the job done on the dive side.
So we have to imagine that Punisher ban is definitely going to put a dent on Avery's side. Not able to play the Punisher, but now trying to stick to something differently here with the Wolverine. Nice poke pressure that we're currently seeing too. Just building to some of these ultimates as Zeus is about to have the extermination too.
Guys, slowly getting that pressure for them. Energy having to back out a little bit, but gets that pressure going. Accuracy just so nice there from Energy. But Ad getting that first pick here on Spark Chief, opening up the team to dive in. Blur is going to go into the point now, and we've got Brute to follow with Magneto, getting that pressure on them, followed by the rapid Avery on Wolverine, and wow, did this pressure work out for them.
And with Cooper going down, then just trying to back away maybe the play here for FlyQuest. Alvios, though, does not go out without a fight. It's the extermination that's used initially to try to incorporate the re-engage, but then you have to consider Ad here, Avery too, who now puts in so much damage in that small corridor. They get 2 more picks and 2 more staggers.
I love that. Honestly, you know, they just lost the map, and Techie's still going out here just absolute fighting.
Oh, no.
Maybe not even with the duels that they won, but Brew is now going to stagger Cooper, and that is going to be lethal now, but they do trade with Avery. But man, Cooper has got to get himself back quick.
That's going to be a possible stagger for Blur. Actually, Blur gets away right on time. The rest of Techie are right there to hold his back. And it's a great first pick here, too. Woofles also having that Fate of Both Worlds to just help out with this next engagement as well as Ad.
Yeah, man, they ran that first fight like they were late for a flight and the gate was closing. We'll see if they can do it again for the second one here as Avery looking full rage here. 85, 95, 100, and it's going to go and dive and slice and dice the Vanguard's claws out, and Avery is popping off here with that damage and pressure Energy, trying to get those all-important backline picks, but there it is. We've got Ad with the Fate of Both Worlds dropping the beat.
At 100 and rage out here, too. Cooper with that invisible boundary earlier on, looking for an opportunity before Vez turns around, breaks that bubble, but then having to reset with the World Breaker Hulk as Energy tries to dance in the backline with the Dance of Butterflies here, just trying to force out another support ultimate from Techie. Woofles with that dance now going to be able to back away, but this is great pressure just to stop the momentum from Techie around that next corner.
I was insane. Blur had like 1 HP, but was able to get into that Monster Hulk here. But Tap with Cooper going down again. Cooper, one of the biggest threats on this team, and often MVP going down now several times. Spark Chief trading with Avery, but Brute, as we saw in Domination, the game they won, is going crazy here on the second point.
This Magneto from Brute has just been on fire with these snipes. Being able to get these picks, these follow-ups alongside with Tap goes huge.
Insanity here from Brute. He wants it. You can see it. The aggression on maximum, turning it up to 11 as teams getting back together here. We've got one last fight to hold off point number 2. And right now, Techie's playing the game that they want to. Cooper staggering a lot on this. Let's see if he can stay alive for the fight.
The triple strategist difference between FlyQuest and Techie, though, they have Woofles, they have Had, and they're cycling through the strategist ults beautifully here as Woofles is slowly approaching that Fate of Both Worlds, but Ad already has a God of Mischief here, slicing in before Energy just jumps right back on top of the point. There goes that copy with the God of Mischief, keeps him in this fight, and the invisible boundary too on top of it. But Avery tries to force him in the back. Cooper gets harassed. He gets scooped up right outside the invisible boundary. This versus out the Eternal Bond now from Zelos.
They've got their target set on Cooper. Now one Wolverine lives, the other falls, and it's Energy as the vest goes up and is unable to connect yet again. It wasn't a highlight, it was a shot clock violation, unfortunately, for Meteor M. Adios now just stuck there, and unfortunately, this is not going to go the way of FlyQuest if you're a fan. Tekixd, though, they're looking hot.
Oh no, Cooper just came back and gets picked off again by Tap, but they were keeping FlyQuest alive for so long before the inevitable happened. They had to go down with the pressure that we saw going in between Tap, Brute with that Meteor, and then Avery being the finishing blow.
Avery just does not need backup. He is the backup. Absolute insanity, and just the precision of making sure Cooper is down and out, followed by Energy. Let the rest of the team sweep up the finishes, and just look at this. Now, I've got to say for myself, oftentimes this point gets pushed into this part. This is where you see a lot of the holds kind of carry on here. It's going to be Tap versus Energy at this point. Now, Energy obviously on Wolverine to try to slow down what has been a dominating Brute and Blur.
Yeah, it reminds me of that high to low ground disparity of Oracle, and by that third checkpoint here, it's difficult to transcend through this low ground now as Energy just tries to make the first move before having to back away, but then has to deal with some karma themselves. Two flying Wolverines that didn't know they had wings, but trying to clip them as Energy gets sent down before trying to retreat back to the rest of his team.
Audius going over now to Bucky, trying to get something going maybe against the Loki, but nothing is working for them. It's again all gas for Tekixd as they go up the stairs and they try to seal the point.
I'm not gonna lie, Ad, Tap, Avery, like Blur, they're all doing such an amazing job right now. Brute with just this poke pressure too, coming in with the Magneto. Clobbering time though isolates two between Adios and Zelos after they try to make some changes, thinking that they need more damage to come out. Energy's been getting focused. Cooper needs all the help for some peel. Vez just get that pick onto Tap though, and that's no dance of butterflies here for Tekixd.
B dropping now for Ad. They're trying to keep everybody up. The Disappear comes up. Invisible boundary keeping people alive. Zelos has the internal bomb locked and loaded. We've got the Kraken impact. Here comes Avery with the unfortunate, unable to get anything for that Berserker here. Vest again, once again, missing that Meteor, has hit so many of those as Energy rockets Avery. Logan v Logan and wins the better of it. And they can finally slow down Tekixd, it looks like, in this fight.
Avery looked like they were floating like a feather, just trying to wait out that Meteor before it was a little too late. Now, Adios comes in to sweep up with the Kraken impact. Cooper finding Tap a little bit of revenge here for the Invisible Woman.
Absolutely here again. Will FlyQuest go to the side quest or stay the main quest here as they put up the defense? Kraken impact used up in a lot of old economy. We do have Energy and Spark Chief. Spark Chief not so much, maybe a little bit of hold there, but Tekixd's got everything they need with 1:20 to seal the deal.
And playing a little cheeky out here too, as most Loki players as well. Just looking at the positioning that we saw that one Loki clone from the back lines of FlyQuest though. But look at these ultimates right now. Energy does have that Wolverine ult. Tekixd have some answers though coming right back. Ad's about to have that Loki God of Mischief before Energy retreats right back to the rest of FlyQuest. And Bez takes a lot of damage. A Meteor now in favor together with the Dance of Butterflies that already find Sue, just trying to cut off their exit point.
That was huge, and Energy used his ult on top of that to try to match the two that Tap got out, but unfortunately did not match it in the Dance of the Butterflies. Could have been the dance to win it, as we now have both dances out. We have Cooper, Loki there with the ult, and now Adios is trying to hold them back. There's only 2 meters left, 2.68. Can they do it?
Another Kraken, by the way, going in again. Getting find the finishing blow. Needs some help here from Energy. Avery now finds Energy instead, but then Fez matches him back in the spawn. Only so much Adios could do with his damage output. Oven leaving the backline of FlyQuest, stalling for as long as possible, but with 16 seconds on the clock, Tekixd take the payload to the finish line.
They've got the sledgehammers out. They're looking to break the bracket. No one giving them a chance. They're going to show exactly who they are to America if they can get this defensive effort. And FlyQuest, you guys have been here many of times. Can you get the 3-3 and push it into yet another push?
Break the bracket, break everyone's predictions, break chat predictions. This is insane right now. Yes, you have a few seconds of time to spare. FlyQuest now on the opposition have to take this payload all the way at the end of that third checkpoint now.
I mean, Tap just huge executions in the back line, really just opening up the space for his team. Energy tried to match it there with the Wolf ult, and again, just unsuccessful to get it done. I mean, there's some matches I don't even know who won. I just know my eyes lost. It was madness.
I feel that I just felt in my soul the way that Cooper had to worry about tap. You double jump away, you finally reveal where you are currently positioned because everyone's taking so much damage. So you get out of the invisibility and then you get hit on the head by Brute and the Meteor. Then you have to worry about Avery kidnapping you. You look like a chameleon looking in every direction if you're one of the backliners of FlyQuest.
And I highlighted Ad before the show and what they did. Ad and Brute have not even been eliminated. Only 8 final hits all together with FlyQuest. 11 for Tap by themselves. That's exactly what you want to see when there's LAN on the line as we head into FlyQuest now on the offensive. Can they get the point as easily as Tekixd did? And we'll see what happens.
LAN and $250,000 prize pool for Americas. It's more than LAN. It's the money in sight for these teams out here. And FlyQuest now have to take this home and strategic here while Alios now going to be able to push in, get in some extra pressure. And I really like this pathing that we're currently seeing FlyQuest try to contest Tekixd.
Yeah, taking this left side, staying there on Winter Soldier's nice for the pressure and just to punish those clones with the Kraken impact that he's trying to build up here. Maybe gonna pull in with the claw there. Energy trying to get that pressure on the right side, like this high ground they're going for. Spark Chief looking to get some air here with Captain America jumping down as Avery is taking the fight to him, slashing and dicing away. And right now the ults are looking in favor for FlyQuest, but dead even nearly.
Just trying to make sure they can cover enough space in case Energy is trying to hide behind the pillar, but Tap calls out Energy instead. Slow and methodical doesn't end up working out for FlyQuest in this case, and after losing out on another form of damage done, Energy will be making their way over, and Avery with this Wolverine, the playmaker in the win condition of his current comp, gets that next isolation on Tevez and the pick.
As Happy Gilmore would say, just tap, tap, tap it in. That's what they're doing, just getting those eliminations perfectly in time as Zelos falls as I guess just that. Brute, whole team now, not only just cleaning up FlyQuest, but also building up those ults. And Cooper really the only one here ready to rock for the next match. Zelos close behind.
Avery is just using this as the opportunity of a scratch post right now. Now there has to be changes, and I like this now. Better late than never. You got 2 minutes, less than 20 seconds on the clock, and we get to see the res composition coming in from FlyQuest.
Yeah, interesting switch up here. We've seen Zelos play a lot of Adam in the past. Cooper flexing on over to the Mantis, and now Adios with that heavy-duty healing responsibility. Energy have not seen them play a lot of Star-Lord, but hey, the Legendary can be Legendary if pulled off correctly here, trying to farm that ult and get that early damage poke. He does get the Lanterns to pop, and it's great to counter that with the Barrage.
Better late here when you have to reset some of your ultimates, but then the clobbering time has found for the follow-up from Avery after utilizing the Wolverine ultimate. Techie had all the answers, but this is what to expect when FlyQuest had made those changes. They lost out on their ultimate push, and the Squirrel Girl just happy from afar back in the spawn room to see FlyQuest again.
Insane there as Ad drops the beat. It's dropping harder than the team's morale right now. There's only going to be 1 minute and 23 seconds. They've got everything they need. It's coming down to execution, and right now Avery has been the lights just really rising up here and making this team sweat. The winners of Group A.
I can't believe it. We'll win the 24 seconds of immortality, or this res composition just go and go again now. But they need to claim this point first as the Mantis from Cooper activates the Mantis ultimate. It's going to be able to contest that fate of both worlds from Wolfos looking over to the other side. This is going to be crucial with this Meteor, but you're playing inside a corridor. It makes it even harder as it clips the roof.
Unfortunate there. I mean, just he threw up the Meteor and it was right off the glass. Once again, something we saw connect so many times. Zelos, though, with that resurrection, will it be the momentum they need as Energy? Tap is just playing out of their mind here with only 34 seconds to go and most of the ult economy used up.
Zelos res everybody, including themselves here, as Tap now goes around after using the Dance of Butterflies. Everything used up as Energy. It's up to you. You did lose on a Cooper, and currently with Ad being able to boost up that Loki ultimate, you have to deal with the fate of both worlds. The clobbering time as Techie has sent FlyQuest back to their spawns.
Brute just with the perfect patience against the Legendary, sucking up the entire ultimate and throwing it down on Cooper, putting the momentum out there, and FlyQuest is looking like they're going to go back to the side quest of the lower bracket. Overtime in, portal out. Can they sustain? Can they keep this thing in?
Playing objective, playing over to the side of having to deal with the gauntlet that is that lower bracket run, as Cooper is the first to go down again after making swaps over to the rocket, though. Dios gets that respawn, Energy gets that pick, still keeping the dream alive. survive as Energy has been able to stay alive and put in this damage pressure.
My goodness, with a fight back we've seen plenty of times. Avery going up and down with the Berserker Rage. Tap to full, and now 1-2. Energy, though, trading with Avery. This can go either way. Energy now with the double, as he always does, putting the team on his back. The mixtape in, and it's violence out as Energy helps get at least a little bit more time on this point. But Ad coming with the portal right now. Team about to dump in here. Vest and with the Clobbering time. Look at that placement from Energy, too.
Jumping right on top of the Doctor Strange portal, bonking on their heads like a footstool, but a clobbering time now from Bez, giving Techie a little taste of the blur medicine instead. Huge 2K coming in. Yes, you've lost out on Zealous, but nobody's dealing with Energy right now, as the overtime isn't the end here for FlyQuest.
Nobody wants to give up. Nobody wants to die. I love it with the top team there on the ropes. They somehow get it done. They only have 2 minutes and 18 seconds as Energy looking just calm, but also punching the air there as Star-Lord does have a legendary. He's going to switch out, though. That just showcases the strategy. Oh, it looks like he's actually going to hang on.
Yeah, this was on top of those Hail Mary swaps on the Rocket to get the respawn up with the triple strategist. Dios with that swap now over to the Namor instead. Wolfballs and Tap both have their ultimates ready to control the next space around this next choke corner.
I mean, this isn't even just an upset anymore. It's survival for FlyQuest. They're just trying to keep this thing competitive. Now, as Ad throwing out the lanterns, good poke there from Energy. Blur, though, the trade with Zealous. These strategists are just falling. It is backline graveyard action as Avery pushing the team back to the point. Oh.
What happens when you can only work with so much strategists to rotate on? Avery has been on fire throughout the course of this entire series, hand in hand with Tap and, of course, Ad and Blur, of course, with the clobbering times that we're currently seeing.
Gonna be interesting to see how this trades off. Techie has all their ults right now. There's a minute left, but if they use them right now, FlyQuest is gonna get what they need to.
Survive, though. You saw Tap survive right there. They even pulled them right back in together with Cooper as the invisible boundary. The clobbering time now from Blur is huge. It's found 3. It's found Cooper and Bez. No invisible boundary instead, as Brute sends out the meteor, doesn't find the mark, as Energy flying from the sky is just continuously trying to put in this pressure. Combine that with the internal bond from the Cloak and Dagger of Zelos.
A beautiful display of not only strategy, but flexibility. Now, Audios just going and cleaning up there with the poke damage that is from Energy and the Star-Lord. 39 seconds left. They were saying to themselves, wait a second, this is not supposed to happen. We were supposed to win this thing, and they're going to see if they can get the second point to get them one step closer to it.
Dude, Energy's not even blinking. Like, still in the same exact position, by the way. Just chilling here, despite what is on the line right now. The re-engagement, Avery's, Wolfles, and Ad are about to have that 24 seconds of immortality, while Avery tries to isolate Baz. The meteor, though, gave him some of that health as well before sending it down, and it misses on the fate of both rolls. That was the major win condition that they wanted to lean on here. This sees Cooper and Spark with their own respective ultimates and overtime about to take away.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not connecting Avery with that trade on best 2. It's going to make it real tough here as Energy's just trying to get that poke damage. It's going to be rough here as now Spark Chief trying to get the pick that he needs to give this team momentum. The team on their ropes. They came in with the spotlight. Now they're under it here as they're just trying to keep things competitive, just like point 1. Blur, though, trades with Cooper. This could be it.
And the stagger with the Luna Snow and Loki ultimates, though, keep the rest of Techie alive. The clobbering time, but you have no sustainability. Bez and Energy are the only ones left. Nobody's dreams as overtime now takes away. Looking at the face of that portal, sending you back. Nowhere to run when Avery is in your face. As Techie, they start the playoffs here in such a strong fashion, taking care of FlyQuest.
My goodness, guys, to open up the playoffs there, respect is earned, not given, and Techie definitely has earned the respect, taking down the winner of the Group of Death, Group A from the group stage, now sent to the lower bracket, and Techie, against all odds, moves on to the upper bracket. They don't like to be called underdogs for a reason.
Wow. I mean, they told us. They told us, Cozy. They beat Dark Zero. They beat Citadel Gaming. Yes, they lost to Shroud X, but you could obviously see that they've expanded on their own hero pool. They've done their research out here. They've basically put FlyQuest in a corner just with those strategist bands out here, and they were able to adapt after losing out on that second map, on one of the maps that are FlyQuest's strengths.
I mean, just try to highlight one person too. You can't. They're all insane. I've got to say, Avery for me was probably the winner of this whole matchup, really stepping up. I think Tap, we expected to see him go off 49-3 though. I mean, that's kind of crazy. But in reverse, just seeing what Avery was able to do with the constant pressure, 14-24. I mean, it is a absolute laughable comparison looking team to team at the moment.
And that's with us highlighting Avery being on that Storm, the Iron Man out here. We saw the Punisher then get banned as a specific ban against Avery, and then the huge Wolverine play that we currently saw hand in hand together with that of Tap and all those final hits. Tekixd are looking to take this winner's side of the bracket with the Storm.
And just left in shock here. This was the first match of today, and wow, does it prove that even just with a week, you can turn things around. New patch, new them, as we're seeing all that practice, that flexibility really pay off. And just hats off to Techie, a team that people don't know. These players are highlighted, interviewed, showed on off shows and podcasts, but Techie are the ones that get it done to move forward, and we're just getting started, Vic.
I need to put a specific highlight onto add on the Loki, though. If I could pick an MVP player, yes, Tap, we've talked about Tap so many times, only died 3 times, but Ad only died twice, and the timing of that Luna Snow and the God of Mistage copying that fate of both worlds is what allowed them to stay alive for 2 re-engagements. It's what allowed Ad to be in that next fight, and that was a huge difference between the 2 strategists versus the 3 that was ran out by FlyQuest.
Yeah, honestly, it was the difference of strategists between both teams. I mean, it seemed like every other moment, FlyQuest strategists were down and out. And Cooper, when he's not able to do what Cooper does best, unfortunately, is just not able to heal, keep the team up. And it followed an ad with 50,000 healing, 30 KOs. That is what you want to see for the backline.
50,000 on the Loki copying the Luna with the fate of both worlds, whereas on the other side, like, you had FlyQuest not know whether they needed more damage out here. They didn't have a Loki, they didn't have a Luna Snow because they were banned against them, and currently Techie used that to their advantage. I would say Ad really popped off there, not only in terms of the survivability with Loki, but I talked about the cheeky clone placements, the reset potentials, as well as building into that very fast charging ultimate for Loki.
Yeah, I mean, again, and look at the position, and they all really rose up to the test. If you look at the Vanguards, just perfect play. Vess was the one with the poke eliminations, not needing to use the ultimate, and when he did, he got all the, huge displays of 2-3-piece. Well, in that time, it was Brute, and Blur was able to put up that pressure consistently. Duelist department, pick your poison. I wouldn't want to go against any of them in the competitive ladder. And then, as you just highlighted, the strategist. So we just saw this team click on all cylinders compared to Yggdrasil's path. Really, their ultimate display and just lining things up, the communication, perfection.
That's literally the only thing I would say here for Techie. If they wanted to end this in a speed run, that second game, the ult economy and how they cycled through it to try to counter that of FlyQuest was really the big difference there, which is something that's very easy to just VOD review and figure out how you want to space out your ultimates. Exactly what we saw in Central Park for map number 3. And that with Brute just doing so much damage output, like what, 17 final hits? Beautiful display in terms of the team of Techie.
Well, guys, you just saw one of the best Psylocke play rivals and have a huge upset, and we're going to welcome in Tap right now for a live interview. And my guest, Cool, Calm, Collected. How's it going, Tap? Congratulations.
Hey, how you doing? I'm great. Thank you.
Dude, listen, your Psylocke is something else, an absolute just demon out there. I mean, you went 40+ eliminations, 3 deaths. We saw you do that before again. You guys lost to Shroud X twice there in group stage. What was the difference of this team coming together? I talked last time, I think, to Blur, and he was like, hey, we're not underdogs to ourselves. I mean, does your team just carry that mentality?
Yeah, we're pretty confident players. I'd say all 6 of us. So, yeah, I'd say we do. Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
You seem like, I can't tell if you're out of breath or you're like just another day at work type of vibe where like you're chilling. You knew that this was going to be the result. Like, how are you feeling after that?
Well, it's a pretty exciting win, of course, because they were the first seed in the other group. So pretty happy. I didn't expect to win, I guess. But like I said, we're pretty confident in our play. So we did go into this thinking we could win. I think we did pretty good. So.
Wow.
Listen,
Sorry, Cozy. No, yeah, hearing you say that you guys didn't expect to win, like, and then you guys came out already winning that first map. I mean, you guys saved the protection on the Psylocke. We saw the same thing from FlyQuest. How did you feel about having to match that 1v1 Psylocke duel versus Energy?
How do I feel about it? I mean, I'll match anyone on Psylocke. That's fine.
Dude, love to see it here as we take a look at your highlights. I mean, I've got to ask you, right? You're only a couple wins away from LAN. I mean, who is Tekixd? Tell us about this team, their mentality. We know so much about these other teams, but the beautiful story of you guys, and now, trust me, the respect has been absolutely earned, you know, on this side of things. But who are you guys? You know, when did you guys come together as a unit, and how long you been playing? Where did you come from?
So Blur, Brute, and me were just pretty good friends. So that's the three of us. We played other games together before, and then Avery kind of picked up the rest. So our backline, and we know Avery from ranked because we all grind ranked loads. So that's probably the best explanation I can give for how we came together.
Yeah, I mean, listen, from group stage to playoff, what do you think's the one thing from you guys that really changed in your play? Was it communication? You know, which was it there that, you know, obviously, you know, sometimes a team just has your number, you know, in a certain day, certain week. But what do you feel like changed with that week off time that you had coming into this?
We definitely took a good look at our draft. I think right now our draft is pretty strong, and we're trying to play as much Psylocke as we can. That's why we're protecting it. Yeah, that's kind of what we did with our week. We kind of practiced that as much as we could. We only scrim once a day, so we don't have that much time, but we do come together and you know, talk about the game a lot. So we had our strategies ready to go.
Well, I interviewed Energy this week, and he said, man, Tap is just one of the craziest Psylocks out there. Definitely the respect is given to you guys. And then, you know, you were big on Punisher, but then this time it was given to Avery, who was the Flyers. And then, you know, Avery popped off with domination. So it looks like even some of y'all's duelist flexibility really showcased here, Tap. And, dude, just again, man, like, this is the biggest stage for Rivals. You know, first LAN in history, couple games away. Want to give you the floor here to say everything to the viewers for Tekixd and close things up here.
All right, well, I think it's one more game. I'm not really sure who we play next, so I'll be watching the next game. Yeah, I think hope you guys support us as we try to make it to LAN.
I'm a fan now. I'm fully converted. I'm a fan now, man. You definitely showcased what you guys got. Go celebrate with the team, and hats off to you guys. We're excited to watch you guys as we continue down this thing. And again, you guys are the dream for a lot of these people watching, the people that can just sign up, play through, and then make their way through against all these orgs. So you're really showcasing a beautiful story to the audience, man. Just congrats.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, guys. That was Tap, one of the craziest Psylocks in the game.